You don't need a stage. You need a chair and the guts to tell the truth. I don't have all the answers. I'm still sorting out my own. But I've learned that when we name something, we drag it into the light, and it doesn't own us the same way anymore. This is for anyone else who's tired of bluffing and just wants to name what's real while we build. Most weeks it's me, sometimes a guest. Always becoming, always honest. This is no stage, just a chair. Let's start with a story. So years and years ago, I used to work with this event called H&8. And H&8 started, I had some clients that they were doing something, 3 different businesses right here in Oklahoma City that were doing they wanted to do kind of a community facing event. And long story short, it started as 300 people in the street. And over the course of 7 years, it grew from 300 people in the street to 50,000 people a month, 9 months out of the year, which translates to 500,000 people engaged with this event. And at the time was the largest food truck festival in America. Really cool, really fun, absolute nightmare. Because just imagine 50,000 people in the street in like a 4-block radius. It was an absolute madhouse. We'd have 50 trucks. So think about a 50 truck event. I think our biggest count of trucks one month was 54 trucks. And each one of those trucks is serving more than 1,000 people a night. And lines and people and live music and everything was happening. It was a madhouse. It was really great. And it was like this runaway hit that was just the craziest ride for me. And at one point, there was a particular night that there was H&8 was happening, and the Oklahoma City Arts Festival was happening the same night. There was an Oklahoma City Thunder game, and there was Norman Music Fest that was happening. It was a big independent music festival that happens in Norman, Oklahoma. So all these things were all happening on the same night. And I can remember so many people like approaching that night with fear. They would talk to me about how like, what's this month going to be like? There's so many things going on in the city, so many activities, so many events, so much of everything that's going on. Like, what's it going to be like? And all along the way, I was looking at it as it's going to be great. Like, why would it not be great? This will be amazing. And here was my thinking. And I want you to follow with me for a second, because when you look at it, it's like 50,000 people at H&8, 18,000 people at the basketball game, another 25,000 people that night at the Arts Fest, and another 25 or 30,000 people at Norman Music Fest. Like, that's a lot of people. But here's the thing to think about. And this is the thing that people don't think about in passing. This is the thing that we have to train ourselves to move towards. You can look at it and see, man, that's a lot of people doing a lot of things all on the same night, and most of it within about a 5-mile proximity of each other. Norman Music Fest is about 25 miles away, but the rest of them are all within walking distance of each other. And it's easy to turn into this like fear, and my dad would have called it scarcity mentality. Because, man, it's going to affect us. But here's the reality. I want us to take a couple steps back from this for a second. The reality is, in Oklahoma City at that point, there are 1.4 million people in the greater metro area of Oklahoma City. 1.4 million people. 50,000 people at our event. So that's 50. Another 18 at the basketball game. So let's just call that 70,000 people. And then another 20 at the Arts Fest. That's 90,000 people. And another 25 at Norman Music Fest for that night. 115,000 people in a city of 1.4 million people. And we look at it as competition, but the reality is this is actually the pulse of something great happening. This is evidence that something beautiful is happening in a place because there is so much activity. There's so many great things. There's so many beautiful events. There's so many exciting things. There's so many activities and ways for people to engage that this is actually evidence of something greater happening. And let's not fall victim to fear. Let's not fall victim to scarcity. Let's not fall victim to this mentality that there is only so much to go around. Because let's be real. We just added up 115,000 people. Hey, let's just pad that with another 25,000 people just to give everything a little bit of optimistic. So you know what that means? At 140,000 people involved among those 4 events, that is 10% of the population of our city. 10%. Is that the capacity? No, that's not the capacity. It's not. But fear, protection, tells us to pull back. For frame of reference, Oklahoma City just celebrated the NBA championship, which they attracted people from far outside of Oklahoma City proper. But the count for that event was between 600,000 and 700,000 people that showed up for that event. There's a lot more possible than we realize. And whenever we lean into this zero-sum mentality of, in order for me to win, somebody else has to lose, we lose the magic. And the magic's where it's at. We can't lose the magic. We can't lose. I've talked about this in earlier episodes. It's the magic of hope. It's the magic of all these things that bubble up inside of us, and they're the things that actually attract humans, attract people. They are the signifiers of something beautiful happening in a place. Can we be excited for that? Because the posture can either be fear, or the posture can be there's plenty of people to go around. And over the course of that month, and this is the truth, I wish I could share with you like screenshots of tweets that we had from that time, because at that point, Twitter was a big thing. Now it's not even a thing. It's got a new name. And does anybody use it anymore? I don't know that they do. But we actually sent out tweets that month. And we sent out tweets promoting the Arts Festival, promoting the Thunder Game, promoting Norman Music Fest, and telling people, hey, if this is something that you love, then you should go do that. And if it's something that you can, try to do all of them. Try to lean into all this stuff. Try to enjoy all this stuff. Try to embrace all this stuff. Try to revel in the beauty of this moment in this city, in this place at this time. And appreciate what it is. With H&A, we actually had this phrase that went along with it that I think really dovetails into this idea. I would ask people all the time whenever I would speak and talk at events about that event, about the event and why we did what we did. And I would always ask people, what do you think H&A is? And the standard answer we'd hear from everybody is food trucks, live music. That's what it is. And I started telling people, small crowds to big crowds, if H&H was food trucks, live music, then you would be at the corner of Northwest Expressway and Rockwell right now eating at a food truck. It's about so much more than that. It's about, these are the three things that we said that it was about. It's the place that you can go to see 50 friends you didn't expect to see, eat 50 things you didn't expect to eat, and do 50 things you didn't expect to do. That's what it is. It's not reductive. It's not overly simple. There's something that's about discovery and aspiration that's wrapped up in all that. When we go to basketball games, we go because we want to see the moment. We want to experience the place and the time, and we want to be there on the night. I can say this. I got to be at the Thunder game this season whenever Oklahoma City played Cleveland for the second time. The first game was one of the best games of the entire season, and OKC ended up losing. The second time was actually in Oklahoma City, and we had both of our centers out due to injury. And everybody assumed that we were just going to get driven like a truck. And instead, OKC came in, and at one point they were up by 43 over the team who had the second best record in the entire NBA. And I came home at the end of the night with my little badge that said Oklahoma City versus Cleveland. And that is my memento from that night, because I got to be part of that moment, that experience. I wasn't just there to see points. I was there to see moments, experience moments. That's why we buy concert t-shirts, for crying out loud. Are those concert t-shirts worth $60? No. Usually they're $18 shirts. But we want to capture a memento from that moment, from that show, from that thing. We want to grab it, and we want to keep a hold of it, and we want to remember it. This is our memento of that moment. It's discovery, it's experience, it is all those things. And in those moments, in that moment where Oklahoma City had all these things going on all at the same time, all scattered out all over the city, the value in all of them is what's possible, what could happen, what it could be. So let's check them all out. Let's be part of those moments. It's not a zero-sum game. It's not I win and you lose. It is we win. Now, true story. True story. That night was one of the largest events that we had. Not only was it one of the largest events that we had, after the Thunder game was over, there were players for the current Thunder team that were tweeting out to other people in Oklahoma City saying, "Game's over. What should we go do?" Steven Adams, who's still a fan favorite to this day, is asking. And tons of people online are getting on there saying, "You should come down here for H&A. Come see the food trucks. Come see all the people. Come see the live music. Come see all of these things." And I'm watching as these Thunder players, and over the course of the night, several of those Thunder players came down and were part of the event. And there were people who came from the Arts Festival that came over to our place, and people that came from our place and went to the Arts Fest, people that went to the Thunder game, people that went to Normal Music Fest, people that went to all these other places and all these other events. And I'm thrilled, because that's who we want to be. It is not I win, you lose. It's we win. As I said in an earlier episode, I want to be at a table full of great, in a room full of great, in a district full of great, in a city full of great. I want to lean into all those things. And part of how we lean into all those things is that we decide not to be so insecure that we have to be the only game in town. Can we lean into that? Because that's expansive thinking. Can we have expansive thinking? What do we lose by having expansive thinking? Because back to that great conversation. If the goal is to be great, and again, it's also okay to be competitive. Can I just acknowledge that out loud? It's okay to be competitive. Competitive and great are not mutually exclusive. Let's be great. Let's be driven. Let's expect excellence. Let's do all of those things. But let's also be secure enough that we can celebrate everyone else's successes at the same time. At that time, I was still traveling, playing music, and there was this lady that had kind of become the band that I was traveling with then. She was kind of our band grandma. I don't really know how we inherited her, but we did. Her name was Diane. It's really funny. Her husband's name was Jack. And maybe some of you won't get the profoundness of little ditty about Jack and Diane. John Cougar Mellencamp. Thank you very much. Little ditty about Jack and Diane. So Diane, there was something that she said to us as a band. She was this older lady who for some reason just decided that she loved all the guys in the band and really cared about us and always looked out for us kind of like a grandma would. She made the statement one time that I thought was really great. She said, comparison is poison. You either win or you lose, and neither one does your heart any good. Like, think about that. You either win or you lose. And in winning, it's easy for us to have pride. And when we lose, it's easy to feel inferior. But if we can shift that conversation away from winning and losing, away from one up and the other down, apart from this exclusive thinking, instead into this expansive thinking, and it turns the conversation from winning and losing into greatness. And I'm going to say it again because it really does matter. This is not about being afraid to be competitive. I'm intensely competitive. As a matter of fact, if I've not said this before, if you know me, don't ever play Monopoly with me. When I play Monopoly, I'm an asshole. Like, for real. I'm a terrible human being. And as a result, I don't ever play Monopoly because it brings out the worst in me. It's just a game, so just be a belligerent, terribly human. I don't want to play Monopoly because of those reasons. Don't play it with me. I'm sorry. I apologize. But if we can shift that conversation into not win and lose, but instead great. Because great shifts the entire conversation. So a coffee shop that I work with here in Oklahoma City that have been longtime friends of mine, they were actually part of the event that we were talking about with H&A. From the very beginning, we would have the conversation, and I may have referenced this before, but I'm going to reference it again because I think it's just gold. I asked them what they wanted to be, and it's like they wanted to be the best. My friend Mandy from, I think it was episode 1 that I talked about the best instead being great. This was another client that during that conversation and during that time, I was asking them, what is it that they want to be? And I told them, I said, what you want to be is a coffee shop. Coffee shop, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. What do you want to be? I told them, I said, our baseline expectation is serve great coffee, be nice to people. If you can do those two things, you win. You win. Serve great coffee, be nice to people. You win. And as time passed, and this is the interesting part about it, there were other coffee shops that popped up in Oklahoma City. And when those other coffee shops popped up in Oklahoma City, Elemental didn't need to be better than them. Elemental needed to be great. And when those other coffee shops experienced success, you know who got to celebrate that success with them? Elemental. Hey, congratulations on getting mentioned for this. Congratulations on winning this award. Congratulations on this milestone. Congratulations on all these things. And all of a sudden, they got to reinforce their position in the market by being gracious. Because the baseline expectation was serve great coffee, be nice to people. Everybody wins. Expansive thinking. Expansive thinking multiplies possibilities. You see more friends, you eat more food, you do more things than you expected. And by contrast, another good friend of mine talked about this. Have you ever seen, I guess this is a common thing, not in Oklahoma because we don't have oceans. you ever seen a crab pot? In a crab pot, the thing is, like, whenever you go pick up crabs, you pick them up, put all the crabs in the pot, put all the crabs in the pot, and as long as you leave 2 inches at the top of the crab pot, they won't get out. But here's the really funny thing about it. If those crabs would all work together, they would all get out. But because they can't work together, they won't work together, they refuse to work together, they just want to be on top. They want to be on top because they want to be the closest to out. They just want to be on top of these other people. They want to win instead of succeed. If they would all work together, everyone gets out of the pot. One gets pushed to the top and gives a hand up to everybody else. One wins and everybody wins. But because there is this me first mentality and this I win and you lose mentality, and a common phrase that you've probably heard before is the idea of all ships rise. All ships rise in these victories. All ships rise. I refuse to give up on that. I refuse to be selfish. I refuse to believe that only one can win and the rest have to lose in order for all this to make sense. I want to be the guy that celebrates my competitors. I want to be the guy that can learn from people who do something similar to what I do. Can I look at them and go, this is what they do that is truly great, and what can I learn from it? They may be different than me in 100 different ways, but I can look at it and go, this is a thing that they're great at, and this is what I can learn from, and this is what I'm going to do. This is the way I'm going to approach it. That's what I want to be. That's who I want to be. That's the way I want to approach it. That's the way I want to think about it. I want to be able to celebrate and give them high fives and hugs in their biggest moments and support them in their failures as well. Because that's the city I want to live in. That's the table full of great, district full of great, city full of great. That is all the things that are great, because that is the baseline that enables that build and that mindset. All ships rise. It's not about beating the competition. It's about that expansive baseline that changes the world. Brands that broaden or create new categories expand the whole field. They do not fight for one slice. They make a table people want to gather around. Do you hear that? They make a table that people want to gather around. I want it all. I want it all. I want to see wins. I want to see celebrations. I want to see high fives. I want to see those beautiful moments anywhere and everywhere. How do we build a table that other people want to gather around? Comparison poisons, expansive creates. Think about this in terms of your competitors. Think about this in terms of other people who don't necessarily think like you. Maybe they don't do the exact same thing as you. Maybe they don't do the exact same way as you. Maybe all of those things may be the case. Norm Music Fest did something different than H&H. Yes, we both had music. Yes, they had some food trucks and we had our thing. We have all these things that are happening. And we win as they win. We can celebrate them. We can clap for them. We can be happy for them because all of a sudden, great was being celebrated. That's what we want. That's who we want to be. And the payoff is seeing how big our world can be, how big success can be, how big our community of supporters can be. Does that make sense? Can you see it? Let's find ways that we can champion others. Let's find ways that we can pursue greatness. Let's find ways that we can celebrate others' successes. Let's find ways that we can build a bigger table instead of fighting over a slice. And this is the place where I say it messy before you assume that it was tidy all along. And we'll see you next week.